You start the game for the first time, excited to explore its world, to enjoy the story, to learn the gameplay mechanics, but there is one thing that keeps your attention for many hours: the avatar creation. Every gamer knows the thrill of character creation. Changing your hairstyles, your body type, your clothes, your race, customizing your character to your own liking. But have you ever wondered why we spend so much time on the character creation and what those customization choices say about you? In games, large and small, players frequently design avatars that embody their dreams and desires. In this video essay, we explore the psychology of character creation. Before talking about this topic, most of you are not subscribed to this channel, and it would help me a lot if you would hit that subscribe button and follow me for more video essays about gaming and the psychology behind it. Psychologists define our self-concept in multiple parts. Higgins' self-discrepancy theory distinguishes the actual self from the ideal self and the odd self. Many studies find that in avatar creation, players often lean toward their ideal self. A research paper showed players who were asked to rate their actual self, their ideal self, and their main character in World of Warcraft on the 44 characteristics using 7-point Likert type scales. Firstly, it was found that each participant's character was more similar to the participant's actual self than to a random other participant's actual self, which was to be expected. Secondly, the researchers turned to the question of whether the player's character was viewed as more ideal than the player's actual self, and guess what? The answer was a significant yes. More than that, it was discovered that especially those with lower well-being built more idealized avatars than their own self-assessment. This shows us that video games allow us to be our ideal self, and if you think about it, it makes so much sense, since in most games that are not pay to win, there is a fair ground that you don't have in real life. In reality, there are a lot of privileges. You can be born in a rich family or in an economically underdeveloped country. You can be affected by a lower self-esteem, or you can be the most confident person in the world thanks to your personal experiences. It was also discovered that especially those participants suffering from depression or who simply had lower self-esteem were more likely to build more extroverted avatars in their looks. And this is a finding consistent in other research papers as well. Another angle on this projection, we see parts of ourselves in our avatars. It was discovered that our personalities can be guessed just from our avatars. Truth is, whether we aspire or reflect, building an avatar is a way to externalize our inner selves. The type of control a player has can add to the rewarding experience of an entertaining game by meeting basic psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness. The avatar is the digital body through which the player can act as an agent in a fictional world. But what is this autonomy that I'm talking about? In video games, autonomy is the psychological need to feel in control of your own choices and actions. This means that the decisions are self-endorsed rather than forced by the game. It can be categorized in multiple forms, and one of them being character customization. Customization can satisfy a player's need for immersion while increasing the player's loyalty or repetitive gameplay. Additionally, customizing an avatar increases a player's emotional attachment to their character, fosters a sense of control and autonomy, and ultimately leads to more enjoyment of the game. Some customizations can be either functional or aesthetic, or both, and attractive avatars have been known to influence a player's confidence. Attractive avatars also elicit a stronger sense of identification that can lead to a greater game immersion. However, customizing for functionality in combination with feelings of autonomy has the potential to boost confidence for in-game decisions, instilling a sense of competency. Autonomy was likely strengthened by the perception that the avatar is the player, and even more by the sense of ownership and control when embodying the avatar. It is possible for the player to perceive themselves as the person accomplishing goals and being able to do things they would never normally do when their avatar represents their actual self, instilling a sense of competence and autonomy. Remembering that people build their ideal self, players are not under any constraint of who they currently are and are also not a type of self that is based on responsibility. It may also be easier to relate to an avatar if they have the desired traits rather than traits out of obligation, especially in a sci-fi game like Mass Effect 3, where there are a few obligations related to the real world. All of this slowly unravels a projective identity, which we have to explore and talk about. According to Jacob Cohen, who was an American psychologist and statistician, best known for his work on statistical power and effect size, identification with a media character occurs when the media user imagines themselves as the media character. In our case, the media character is the created character while playing a game. During this identification, our personal identity is projected to the character's identity and role. Cohen added, if the player strongly identifies with the media character, he or she may even lose their awareness as the audience of that game. 4 dimensions were shared in Cohen's identification model: sharing the character's feelings, sharing the perspective, sharing the goals, and the loss of self-awareness during media engagement. The more you are able to customize your game character, the more you are able to reduce the gap between your actual self and ideal self. This is because you are able to project your ideal self to a game character. Finding the game character attractive can also predict identification with it. It can be said that this could also be related to the self-discrepancy explanation, since an attractive game character is more likely to correspond to an idealized version of the player in terms of appearance. Furthermore, another factor beneficiary to this identity projection is perceiving the character as if it acts like a human being in the real world. These ideas are especially relevant in Dragon's Dogma 2. This is one of those games that features one of the most comprehensive character creation systems available, allowing players to customize facial features, body proportions, voice, and many other aspects. Beyond appearance, the game encourages players to embody their character through exploration, combat decisions, and interactions with the world. And while this is a fantasy environment, at its foundation the player would take the decisions that would help the most with their projective identity. Some findings suggested that younger players are more likely to identify with their game characters, and in addition to the motivator factor that we already discussed about, there is also the motivation of escapism. Games in this discussion also offer the young players who might be in the early stages of their identity development with a weak sense of who they are, a safe space for identity exploration. Another positive factor of the projective identity appears to be the time spent playing, or better explained, how many hours a player spent playing a game during a specific period. Maybe you expected this, but if you will spend 40 hours in the first week after the release of GTA 6, you will get more familiar with your game character and the game itself, immersing yourself in the game even more. So, why do we spend hours moving sliders, changing hairstyles, adjusting jawlines, body types, and looking for the perfect outfit for the game character? We are projecting our identity and creating a version of ourselves. Sometimes that version reflects who we already are, sometimes it represents our ideal self, and at a younger age it gives us the freedom to experiment with identities we could never explore in our real lives. Psychology suggests that character customization helps bridge the gap between our actual and ideal selves, fulfilling our need for autonomy and increasing our emotional attachment to the game. The more believable and customizable that character is, the easier it is to stop thinking of that avatar as just a source of entertainment, and we start to experience the game through the character's eyes. As technology continues to evolve, character creation is becoming even more expressive. Upcoming games like Chrono Odyssey promise even deeper customization and more immersive worlds, while progress in animation and procedural systems will likely make our characters even more like an extension of ourselves. The line between player and game characters will continue to blur. So, the next time you spend hours or days customizing your character, remember that you are in a very important process of projecting your identity and you are not wasting time at all. And since now you know how important character customization is, I would love to read in the comments how you built your character in your favorite games. For more deep dives into the gaming industry, subscribe to this channel, peace and love, and see you next time.